What's up, Space Fam? You asked for it, and you know I had to come through. That's right, I took the long ride out to the very edge of our solar system to bring you the ultimate truth bomb. Pluto is a planet. Yeah, I said it. And I'm ready to fight for this frosty little rebel. I mean, come on. Just look at him. Tiny, yes. But adorable? Absolutely. Underrated? You bet. Disrespected? Every single day since 2006. And that ends now. Let's dive into the 3 official rules that define what makes a planet, and I'm gonna show you why Pluto checks more boxes than your online shopping cart on payday. First rule, it must orbit a star. Boom. Nailed it. Pluto absolutely orbits the sun, sure. It's doing laps way out here, 6 billion kilometers, or 3.7 billion miles, from our fiery overlord. But the orbit is real. The sun's just a teeny tiny in Pluto's sky, but that's enough. Rule 1. Passed with flying colors. Analyzing conditions. Atmosphere. Check. We got nitrogen, a little methane, and a dash of carbon monoxide, aka Pluto's icy little cocktail of gases. Temperature. A brain-freezing minus 232 degrees Celsius, or minus 386 degrees Fahrenheit, colder than your ex's heart and chillier than the dark side of the moon. This world is remote, frozen, and dark, but it's holding it together like a true champ. You try being this cool 6 billion clicks from warmth. Respect. Second rule, it must be round. Pluto? Spherical AF. Thanks to its own gravity, Pluto pulls itself into a nearly perfect sphere rounder than some of the eggs I scrambled this morning. So yeah, it's got that whole gravitationally dominant shape thing going on. It's got mass, it's got volume, and it's got that smooth globe aesthetic. Rule 2. Locked and loaded. Third rule. It must have cleared its orbit. Okay. This one's where things get a little spicy. This is the rule that got Pluto booted from the club. The International Astronomical Union, IU, said Pluto hasn't cleared its neighborhood of other debris. Which is kinda true, but also kinda shady. I mean, come on, neither has Earth, technically. We've got tons of asteroids and junk sharing our space. So how is that fair? Pluto orbits in the Kuiper belt, a region full of icy objects and dwarf planets. Of course it hasn't cleared its orbit. That would be like expecting a kid to clean up an entire playground just to be allowed to play. Harsh. So maybe instead of penalizing Pluto, we need to rethink the rules. The third rule is exclusionary, and Pluto just got caught in the bureaucratic crossfire. If we judged humans the same way, none of us would be real adults. Bonus reason. Pluto's got personality. Let's talk moons. Pluto has 5 of them, and one of them, Charon, is so big, it doesn't even orbit Pluto in the traditional sense. The 2 of them orbit a common center of gravity that's outside Pluto's surface. That's binary planet energy, baby. Pluto's got seasons, weather, mountains of ice, possible subsurface oceans, and even a heart-shaped glacier. That's right, Pluto is literally wearing its heart on its sleeve. Name one other celestial body that's that wholesome. I'll wait. So what now? Pluto may be small. It may be distant. But it's got gravity, moons, an atmosphere, and planetary vibes for days. Just because it doesn't fit some stuffy old-school definition doesn't mean it's not worthy. It's time to stop treating Pluto like the awkward cousin at the solar family reunion. Pluto belongs. Pluto matters. And Pluto is a planet. Period. Pluto. 1. Haters. 0. Let's just get that out of the way. We're out here, standing on the edge of the solar system, a staggering 5,867,639,023 kilometers away from the sun. Yeah, that's over 3.6 billion miles, people. Out here, sunlight is barely more than a whisper. Like 0.1% the brightness you'd see on Earth. It's basically permanent twilight. You can hold your hand out and almost miss it. And yet, it's stunning. Hold up, are those mountains over there? Yep, I'm seeing sharp ridgelines glittering in the dim light. I'm going to check them out. Because when you're visiting Pluto, you explore. Rico, scan for terrain analysis. Acknowledged. And then it hits me suddenly, it's not just about rocks and ice. It's about something deeper. Like that time we watched Mean Girls, yes, that time. Rico doesn't remember. Of course not. But I do. I started thinking about all the times I got rejected by those alien hotties I tried to impress. Yeah, you're not important. Let's stay focused. But you know who's had it even worse than me? Pluto. For over 75 years, Pluto was in the solar system's cool club. A proud member of the Planetary 9. Teachers taught it. Kids made models of it. There were books, poems, even cartoons. And then bam. Dismissed. Labeled a dwarf planet. Just like that. No warning. No ceremony. Just stripped of status like it was some interstellar pop star caught in a scandal. Thanks, Neil deGrasse Tyson. Why the demotion? Well, it turns out Pluto wasn't the only icy rock on the block. Astronomers discovered other similarly sized objects beyond Neptune. And because Pluto shared its orbit with those Kuiper belt cousins, the International Astronomical Union said, "Nope, not dominant enough. You're out." And honestly, that whole decision hit like a 2000s tabloid headline. Lindsay Lohan, Britney Spears. Pluto. The cosmos was cruel back then. But here's what they forgot. Pluto didn't stop being fascinating just because it lost a label. Look at this place. Mountains. Ice plains. Possible underground oceans. That's not just a glorified snowball, that's a full-blown world. Rico, confirmed landscape elevation. Confirmed. Terrain features consistent with mountainous formations. See? Mountains. Real, majestic formations, some rising as high as the Rocky Mountains on Earth, except here, they're made of frozen water ice as hard as rock due to the extreme cold. But hey, Rico cuts in. Presence of elevation is not a recognized criterion in planetary classification. Right. I know. IU's rules are all about orbit clearing and hydrostatic equilibrium and blah blah blah. But I'm just saying, if it walks like a planet, spins like a planet, and even throws some shade like a planet, maybe we shouldn't be so quick to exile it. And these icy ridges? They aren't just pretty. They're geologically active. New Horizons showed us that Pluto's surface is an ancient and crater-covered like some dead rockets alive with change. So here's what I propose. Pluto isn't a lesser planet. It's a different kind of planet. A pioneer of the dwarf planet genre, smaller, sure, but complex, dramatic, and absolutely worthy of planetary respect. Pluto has a thin atmosphere with layers of haze, seasonal changes despite its distance from the sun, an epic, heart-shaped glacier, Tomba Regio, a moon so massive that Pluto and Charon orbit a shared point in space. And yes, landscapes, ice, and mystery. So go ahead, IU. Keep your definitions. We'll be over here on Pluto, vibing at minus 232 degrees Celsius, standing on a mountain of frozen water, looking out over a horizon only New Horizons made possible. Because no matter what anyone says, Pluto still matters. Pluto still counts. And Pluto? It's still got that planetary glow. Look, I'm doing my best to score some redemption points for little Pluto out here, but man, Rico is being real extra with all his International Astronomical Union trivia. Like, chill, dude. He's got that by-the-book energy going strong. But I'll give him credit, he's technically not wrong. See, to be officially considered a planet, a celestial body has to check 3 boxes. Just 3. Doesn't sound too hard, right? Let's walk through them. Rule number 2, we're skipping number 1 for now because, let's face it, I already crushed that one earlier. A planet needs to have enough mass and gravity to shape itself into a sphere. That's non-negotiable. And here's where it gets fun. You ever see some of the asteroids floating around out there? They look like someone squished Play-Doh in zero gravity. One's shaped like a dog bone, another like a cigar. And don't even get me started on the one that looks like a rubber ducky. I'm serious, NASA has the photos, but none of them are round. Why? Because they don't have enough gravity. Gravity is the great sculptor of the universe. It molds things into spheres when there's enough mass. So what about Pluto? Take a good, hard look at it. Go ahead. That is a perfect little cosmic snowball. It's beautifully spherical, smoothish, proud, glowing with that frozen dignity. So yeah, Pluto? She nails that second requirement. Pluto, 2. Haters, 0. We're on a roll. Speaking of haters, okay, now let me get something off my chest. I saw some of your comments the other day. Don't think I didn't. Some of you said I was AI, artificial intelligence. Really? Do I look artificial to you? This charming smile, these rugged cheekbones, this cosmic charisma? This is 100% authentic, stardust-born, emotionally complex space explorer. No silicon hearts here, my friends. And hey, if you still doubt me, hop over to my Patreon. You'll see behind-the-scenes footage. Real laughs, real outtakes, real heartbreak when Pluto gets disrespected. Now, let's return to our cold, distant hero. Criterion number 3. This is where the debate gets dicey. To be a planet, an object must have enough gravitational pull to clear its orbit of other debris. That means it can't just float around in a swarm of other objects like it's part of the crowd. It has to dominate its neighborhood, boss-level style. Unfortunately, Pluto doesn't. Instead, it hangs out in the Kuiper belt, which is basically like the cosmic version of a very crowded outer suburb. It's packed with icy bodies, space rocks, and misfit moons. Pluto's orbit cuts through that belt like a kid riding their bike through traffic. And worse? Its orbital path intersects with Neptune's. Yeah, that's right. It crosses paths with another full-fledged planet. That's not very planet-like behavior. That's rogue energy. If the solar system were high school, Pluto would be that edgy kid who doesn't follow the hallway rules, cutting through crowds and skipping class with Eris and Make. Rico chimes in. Pluto's inability to clear its orbital zone disqualifies it from planetary status. Yeah, we know, rule guy. But let me leave you with this. Just because Pluto doesn't technically fit the IU's strict definition doesn't mean it isn't important. Doesn't mean it isn't special. Because in many ways, Pluto is teaching us to rethink what we define as a planet. It reminds us that not all heroes wear rings. Not all planets follow perfect paths. Some of them, like Pluto, take the scenic route. And maybe, just maybe, the rules aren't the problem. Maybe it's the way we define them. So for now, Pluto, forever in our hearts. Planet or not, it's a legend. Let's be real. Pluto never stood a chance. The moment it strolled into the solar system with that icy swagger and tiny frame, the universe was like, yeah, that one's not gonna make it. Harsh? Maybe. But that's the cold vacuum of space for you, brutal and unapologetic. Now, I know what you're thinking. Come on, give Pluto a break. 2 out of 3 planetary rules ain't bad. And you'd be right unless you're the International Astronomical Union. Because those guys? Oh man, those cosmic gatekeepers? They don't play around. According to them, unless you check every single box, you're getting booted off the planetary red carpet. Pluto? Yeah, it got bounced hard. Like, sorry, buddy, you're not on the guest list. It's like being disqualified from prom royalty because your tie's crooked. And let's be honest, this whole clearing its orbit requirement kind of feels like a technicality. Pluto's round. It orbits the sun like the rest of the gang, and it even has moons for crying out loud. But nah, apparently that third criterion is the deal breaker. So, Pluto gets disinvited from the planetary table because it's not influential enough? Oof. Cosmic bullying, anyone? But hold up, drama alert. Boom. Out of nowhere, I almost eat interstellar dust falling into this massive crater. And where's Rico? The overly enthusiastic AI assistant who's supposed to warn me of deadly hazards? Oh, now he speaks. Acknowledged. Danger. Crater detected ahead. Oh, really? Thanks for the heads up, Rico. Truly. But then I see it and whoa, this crater is enormous. Like, vast canyon of doom levels of huge. Craters on Pluto can reach up to 260 kilometers, 160 miles, in diameter, Rico notes casually. That's massive. To put it in perspective, that's like someone hitting Pluto with a baseball stadium the size of Connecticut. Imagine the impact, the explosion, the drama. Michael Bay would be proud. And yet, Pluto just shrugs it off and keeps spinning. Then Rico hits me with a stat bomb. Pluto's diameter is 2,376.6 kilometers, 1,476 miles. That's roughly 2/3 the size of Earth's moon. Wait, what? 2/3 the moon. That's actually kind of impressive for a body that people call a dwarf. I'm sitting there, staring at Pluto's icy horizon, thinking, hey, if I really pushed myself, I could run across this whole thing in like 4 days. Inaccurate, Rico says, with no sense of dreams or ambition. The average max running speed for humanoids is 8 kilometers per hour. You are well below average. Okay, wow. Rico coming in hot. No chill in space, apparently. But fine, I'll concede. Pluto is tiny. But tiny doesn't mean insignificant. So what now? Well, if we want to get Pluto reinstated as a full-fledged planet, maybe we need to help it. Bulk up. You know, get it on that cosmic protein powder. Hit the asteroid gym. Add a few icy moons to its waistline. You see, Pluto resides in the Kuiper belt, that outer ring junkyard of the solar system beyond Neptune. And that place? It's packed with icy misfits. Frozen rocks. Rogue comets. Leftovers from planetary formation that never quite made it to the big leagues. And guess what? Some of them are pretty chunky. Not planet big, sure, but definitely. Hey, I could make a good sidekick big. So maybe, just maybe, Pluto could team up with a few of these Kuiper critters, merge their masses, and come back swinging. Reinvent itself. Go from underdog to planetary legend. Let's face it, Pluto doesn't need our pity. It needs a comeback. And if the solar system's gonna be petty about semantics and rules, then maybe it's time we bend a few. Because at the end of the day, whether it's a planet, a dwarf planet, or just a really cool ice ball with a Napoleon complex, Pluto's still got heart. And heart is what makes a world worth orbiting. So here's the wild idea I've been sitting on. What if we mushed every icy object in the Kuiper belt together, just slammed M into Pluto like some sort of cosmic smoothie, and turned our little underdog into the chunkiest planet the solar system's ever seen? Ambitious? Yes. Ridiculous? Absolutely. Fun? You bet. Calculating the likelihood of creating the biggest planet of all time. 0.0005%. Says Rico, my robotic mood slayer in shining circuits. Seriously, Rico? Could you not crush my dreams for once? I cannot compute tone. Right. Of course. The sarcasm algorithm upgrade didn't go through, huh? Fine, let's dial it back. Maybe not the biggest planet of all time, no offense to Jupiter, but at least a planet bigger than Pluto is now. That's all I'm asking. A glow up. A planetary protein shake. Is that too much? I was going to do the math myself. You know, take the mass of Pluto, factor in the Kuiper belt objects, run a few quick calculations on my dusty high school algebra, but then my brain went, nope. So I did what any smart space explorer does. Rico, compute Pluto's total mass if it absorbed every single object in the Kuiper belt. Recalculating. New mass, 6 times 10 to the power of 23 kilograms, approximately 13 times 10 to the power of 23 pounds. New diameter, 8,500 kilometers, or 5,000 miles. Bam. There it is. Now I know what you're thinking. That sounds impressive, but what does that actually mean? Don't worry, I had the same thought. I mean, those numbers are huge, but they sound like math teacher nonsense without some context. So I asked Rico to spell it out. Pluto would possess greater mass than Mercury. Its diameter would exceed both Mercury and even come close to matching Mars. Mic drop. Do you know what that means? Pluto wouldn't just get its planet badge back, it would strut into the planet club in heels, tossing glitter, demanding a nameplate. It wouldn't be the little guy anymore. It would be Planet Pluto 2.0, Ice Giant Glow Up Edition. Let's freaking go, baby. Me, yelling into the void like it's a space pep rally. Assessing risk. Disastrous consequences foreseen. Rico mutters like a robotic version of your mom, reminding you why launching bottle rockets inside the garage is a bad idea. Ugh, Rico. Come on. Can't you just let me dream for once? I mean, we're trying to build a planet here. This is planetary innovation, not spreadsheets and health and safety protocols. But, okay, let's play devil's advocate. What if we did make Super Pluto Would it finally be more than just a frozen rock? Could it be habitable? Extremely unlikely, Rico deadpants. Slow axial rotation implies no functioning magnetosphere. Orbit lies far beyond the habitable zone of the sun. No verified presence of subsurface oceans. Okay, yep, all right. That's fair. So what I'm hearing is, it's still cold, it's still lonely, and it's still dead. But you know what? That doesn't mean we can't give Pluto the respect it deserves. It doesn't need to be habitable to be valuable. It doesn't need to host a tropical vacation resort to earn a seat at the planetary roundtable. Maybe Pluto's purpose isn't to support life. Maybe Pluto's just here to remind us that even the smallest worlds can make the biggest impact. Wait, what is this? Who edited this segment? Someone call Mission Control. We need to fire this editor yesterday. This whole thing was supposed to be Pluto's big moment, the triumphant, galaxy-shaking comeback of our frosty underdog, and instead, it's looking like the end credits are rolling before the story even started. But hang on, we're not giving up yet. Because listen, redemption arcs? They're real. Everyone deserves a second chance, Pluto included. I mean, if Lindsay Lohan can rise from the ashes of tabloid chaos to absolutely crush it in Netflix holiday rom-coms, then there's still hope for our little frozen buddy orbiting 6 billion kilometers from the spotlight. Trust me, the universe loves a good comeback. So yes, Pluto is technically not a full-blown planet. Yet, as of right now, it's classified as a dwarf planet. I get it. That stings. I feel it too. The word dwarf just sounds like it's been put in timeout by the cosmos. Like it tried its best, but didn't get the gold star. But hold on, don't lose hope. Because I've got a plan. A bold, audacious, maybe a little dangerous plan to bring Pluto back into the big leagues of planetary prestige. I'm talking about pulling a full-scale transformation. New orbit, more mass, a fresh round of press interviews, heck, maybe even a TikTok account. Disastrous consequences foreseen. Rico, again, must you always ruin the vibe with your catastrophic foresight? Okay, fine. Let's hear it. What is it this time that's got your motherboard shaking? Pluto and Neptune cross orbits at 2 points. They are currently in orbital resonance. Their trajectories are phase-locked, meaning they move in a synchronized pattern that ensures they never intersect or collide. So far, sounds like a pretty elegant cosmic dance. But go on. If one body's gravitational influence increases, say, due to a massive artificial intervention, then resonance could be broken. This would destabilize their orbits. The resulting trajectory shift may cause a collision. A planetary impact of that scale would have unimaginable ripple effects. Absolute destruction of the solar system may ensue. Oh no. That's bad. Like Armageddon-level bad. So in our attempt to give Pluto its moment in the sun, we might actually break the entire solar system. We're talking about throwing off the gravitational balance of not just two celestial bodies, but potentially unleashing chaos that could spread across the entire orbital harmony of the planets. That's not a redemption arc. That's a Shakespearean tragedy waiting to happen. And here I was, standing on this icy rock, trying to be the hero. Trying to bring this cold little misfit back into planetary prestige. I believed in Pluto. I still believe in Pluto. I thought if we just gave it one more shot, one more chance, it would prove everyone wrong. But maybe not every fallen hero gets to rise again. Maybe Pluto's story isn't about glory. Maybe it's about quiet resilience. About existing on the edge of the solar system, still orbiting, still spinning, still holding its ground while the rest of the planets bask in the sun's golden glow. Maybe that's enough. Hazard detected. Yeah, I see it now, Rico. The real danger wasn't the crater ahead. It was the heartbreak of realizing some stories don't get the Hollywood ending we want. But Pluto, if you're listening, just know, you may not be a planet in their books. But in my universe, you're legendary.